All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Elijah Talks Ball. I'm Elijah. We're talking ball, and we're breaking down the 2024 World Series between the New York Yankees and the LA Dodgers. East versus West, the two biggest markets in baseball facing off against each other. All rise for the showdown. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, and company battling for all the rights to glory. Super excited for this matchup. You know, the nice thing about baseball is a lot of the time you get these young startup teams. We saw it in the playoffs this year with the Guardians, with the Royals, with the Tigers. You know, these teams that you don't feel like have the talent to make it anywhere, and they get hot, they get into playoffs, and last year with the Diamondbacks and the Rangers, they get to the World Series. You know, you've been hearing the complaints, oh, it's just the two markets that pay their guys, and then, you know, they get to the championship because they have all the money. It's just not true. When you take a layer off of that onion and you look deeper, these teams haven't matched up in the World Series together since 1981. Almost 45 years since they faced off against each other. Yankees, by the way, lead that all-time series 8-3. But the Yankees, they haven't even been to the World Series since 2009. So 15 years. And then the Dodgers, while they, have been one of the better teams of the decade, they only have one World Series ring, and it was during the COVID-shortened year. Everybody calls it illegitimate. So both these teams haven't been here a lot. And so this is exciting because what do you want in your sports? You want the best players going up against the best players. Best teams versus the best teams. Kind of switching sports here. But when the Patriots played the Seahawks, that was the two best teams probably of the decade up against each other. And it led to one of the better Super Bowls we've ever seen. Hoping we can get that out of this series. We mentioned Shohei and Aaron, but they've Yankees, Judge, Stanton, Garrett Cole, Dodgers, Freeman, Mookie, Yamamoto. Tons of incredible players on both sides. Star-studded lineup. So hopefully we get 7 games out of this series. Couple crazy walk-offs, lead changes later in the innings. Maybe a pitching duel in there as well. Super excited to break it all down. So before we start, like and subscribe, comment down below. Tell me, who do you think's going to win? How many games is it going to take? Who's going to win the MVP of the World Series? I want to hear it all. Let's have a convo, and let's talk ball, baby. So, like I said, first meeting since 1981. Yankees have dominated it, but it's been so long, you can crumple it out, wipe the slate clean, throw it away. And we can look for Garrett Cole to take the mound in Game 1 for the Yankees, playing at L.A., 2 games at L.A., 3 games in New York, 2 more games at L.A. If it goes to 7, Dodgers had the better record, so they got the home field advantage. And I got to say, side note, I'm not sure home field advantage works super well in baseball. As a team, if you could steal a game on the road in those first 2 games, now you have 3 in a row at home. So you wonder, you go in there, you probably win 2 out of 1 there. So now you go back to LA and you just got to win 1 out of 2 to win the series. I kind of like being the away team. You catch fire, steal a game, you go home feeling good. You just got to win 2 out of 3 there really to be in really good position to win it all. So that's a side note, but either way, Yankees are the road team Game 1. Garrett Cole, who we know won the Cy Young last year, very good pitcher. Even though it hasn't felt like he has his best stuff this postseason, still pitching to a tune of a 3.3 ERA, more than serviceable. Going up against who I believe the Dodgers haven't announced it yet to be Yamamoto. He pitched Game 1 against the Padres. Flaherty is the other guy that you could think maybe gets Game 1. He pitched Game 1 against the Mets, but he kind of got knocked up a little bit against the Mets in Game 5. And Yamamoto came in that clutch game against the Padres, game 5, and just shut them down. Padres were feeling it as well. The biggest thing outside of preventing runs in the World Series and as a pitcher during your start is game 1, you got to have the guys eat a lot of innings. If the Yankees and Dodgers can both get 7 innings of 1, 2 or less run ball, you got to feel really good about it because it sets your bullpen up for the later games in a really good manner, because now you're only needing to eat 1 inning with one guy and another inning with your closer. Hopefully that sets you up good for the rest of the series. These games, they're going to start coming quick, and a lot of the time you see it. The health of the team, the health of the bullpen is what's important, because you don't want to be wheeling out the same guys. The same reason we have teams yank their pitchers before they face the order 3 times is the same reason we see bullpens get hit later in the series, because they've seen them multiple times. So if you got to just send innings and you can't get outs efficiently, these guys are going to get more and more reps, and it's going to be easier to hit them in the later games. So game 1, crucial. You want your guy to go out and shove. Ideally, 7 innings, 0 runs. But you'll live with 1 or 2 if you can get 7 innings out of them. That makes you feel good, especially with that day off in there. That allows Cole and Yamamoto to then pitch game 5, maybe even game 4. That's a little bit of a stretch, but that could put you available to give some innings in game 7 if you get there. So superstar versus superstar here. Obviously, Yamamoto coming over from Japan. Garrett Cole, we know what he's done. I expect the first 5 innings of game 1 to be a pitching contest. These guys at that point haven't played in a game in about a week, so maybe the bats are a little bit rusty, because, they're obviously going to be taking live BP during their off time, but nothing simulates game action like actually being out on the diamond and being in live at bats against the opponent. I can expect later in the game you see a couple crooked numbers put up, especially once the bullpens get out there, some nerves. And I got to say, whoever breaks the dam in this game 1 is probably going to take the victory. I don't think that will have a huge implication on the series. Typically there's that stat. It's like 70% of teams that win game 1 end up winning the series. I think you can just eliminate that when it comes to these 2 teams. They're so potent on offense. They have so much depth in their bullpen. They're both clicking right now. These guys could be down 3-1 in the 8th inning. They could put up 4. And as the games carry on, these teams have been there, done that. Dodgers had their backs against the wall against the Padres, down 2-1, facing elimination, shut the Padres out in back-to-back games, come out just hitting like they're psychotic against the Mets, crooked numbers in every single game multiple times. And the Yankees, I mean, how many times did they change leads with the Guardians? I mean, it felt like those final 3 games, in the final couple innings, it was a lead change every single one. So both these teams know they can perform when their backs are against the wall. Got to be excited. Both these teams, top in the league in hitting, top of the league in pitching. Good running for the Dodgers. I'd say they're a little better on the base pass due to Shohei, Tommy Edman. These guys that, we have on the Yankees, Jazz Chisholm. He's got some speed. Volpe, he can steal some bases, but I'd give a slight edge to the Dodgers base running. But either way, both these teams at the top of the league in their respective categories. So before we jump into each team's preview, I got to tell you about how expensive it is to go to these games. Holy cow. I looked up the prices on SeatGeek for tickets, and per typical occasion during championship games, $1,000 for, so-so seats. That's fair. It's the biggest game of the year. If you really want to go, pay the money. I'd pay it. But $25,000 for dugout seats at Dodger Stadium for game 1. That's crazy, yo. Now, if you got the money, pay it. I'm all for it. But who the hell is affording $25,000 for a baseball game? That's crazy. That's like 4 months' work for me, man. Incredible. I hope they give a pan over to see who's sitting there. I'd imagine it's celebrities and former baseball players and athletes because, maybe only oil men could afford those seats. I'd like to see who shows up. So just had to throw that in there. Blew my mind a little bit. But let's dive in. We're going to start with the Yankees as they're the away team. Just mentioned Garrett Cole taking the pill in Game 1. The key to this series for the Yankees, Aaron Judge has to show up. If Aaron Judge shows up and plays how he played in the regular season, the Yankees will win this series. I honestly view him as the catalyst for both teams, where if the Dodgers can shut him down, they win. But if he gets hot, you can bet the Yankees are bringing home that trophy. He's been struggling in the playoffs, and that's typical for him. He's only hitting 160 right now. Even though he had that low of an average in the Guardians series, he still had 2 home runs and 6 RBIs somehow in 5 games. So you can imagine what he would do if he's hitting as his normal self. That average gets doubled. You would think the home runs and RBIs get doubled as well. So he needs a big game, a big series. That's their key. The other key, this bullpen has got to be lights out. The Dodgers getting through that 1, 2, 3 of Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman, damn near impossible. We saw the Yankees bullpen, they got knocked around a little bit against the Guardians, and they don't have anywhere near the firepower that the Dodgers do. Giving up those late runs, not going to be ideal against a team that just can put up 3 runs every inning without even trying, it seems like. The benefit to the Yankees, though, they just faced the best bullpen in the league again with the Guardians. So the Dodgers bullpen has been lights out. Michael Kopech, Blake Trinan, Evan Phillips, been really dominant, but they just faced Cade Smith, Emmanuel Clase. They know what elite pitching looks like, and they showed they can hit it. So you got to think that bodes well a little bit confidence-wise to say, yeah, well, your pitchers are good. Well, we just went against the best. So you got to have your own bullpen shut them down because you're not going to get away with letting up late runs in the game against a team like this. Another thing, the base running for the Yankees has got to get fixed. In back-to-back games, they had 4 outs on the base paths that, like I said, against a team like the Dodgers that will capitalize on your mistakes, can't happen. You have to be smart on the base paths, and you got to play solid defense. Another thing to see who wins this series, they're pretty even hitting-wise. They're pretty even pitching-wise. Whoever plays better defense and has better base running, probably going to take this series. And the Yankees have shown that while their defense pretty good, their base running is atrocious. And you can't be leaving outs on the base paths. I mean, that's elementary shit. Finally, we got to preview the murderer's row for the Yankees because each team has one. Batting number 2, Juan Soto. Batting number 3, Aaron Judge. And batting number 4, Giancarlo Stanton. And shit, did we see what he did? Oh my gosh. ALCS MVP, 4 homers, absolute piss missiles. Dude is on another level. They said, how do you play this well in the postseason? He said, I just want a ring. So you can expect he's going to have another good series. You got Gleyber Torres, who's been on a heater, leading off the series. And then, Chisholm, he needs to get hot. Rizzo, Volpe, Austin Wells, and Verdugo. Those guys, they just got to pitch in. Honestly, the biggest thing for them, timely hitting. They don't need to go on these crazy hot streaks that, where they're hitting 450, you would want that. But what you need from the bottom of the order is runner on second, 2 outs, slap a single. Maybe you're only batting 200, but runners in scoring position, you got to hit during that time. And that's a lower the order thing where the guys at the top of your order, they're going to get it done. But if you can cash in, because those guys at the top are going to get on base, you got to bring those guys home. Moving on to the Dodgers. Or actually, one more thing on the Yankees, excuse me. I got to say, a sneaky MVP pick for the Yankees if they win, Gleyber Torres. He batted over 300 against the Guardians. Big time hits. Seems like he was always slapping a single into the gap. Great defense. I got to say, the Yankees win. It's probably a big reason that their leadoff hitter is getting on base and driving in some runs. So look out for that. Maybe if it's a good money line, throw some money on that. Now, officially moving on to the Dodgers. Let's just break the ice with their murderers row. Holy shit. Back-to-back-to-back Hall of Famers. Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman. I mean, there's not really any words to describe what the hell this is. These guys are all first ballot Hall of Famers. They're all in their prime. And Mookie's hot right now. Shohei with runners on is on another planet. And I got to say, the Dodgers winning this game on Sunday to allow for this 5-day rest that they have between then and Friday, that helps Freddie Freeman so much. Wasn't in the lineup for Game 6. Has been dealing with that ankle injury all throughout the playoffs. Been grinding it out. What a tough dude. This helps big time. Now he gets those extra days to rest. He doesn't need to come in on a Game 7 and play his ass off to where then it carries over into the World Series. Hopefully they can ice this thing, let it heal, and then you get full strength Freddie Freeman back, because I'll tell you what, Shohei and Mookie, they're going to set the table for you. Freddie, you could argue is the best hitter in the league. He's definitely top 3. Hits the ball where it's pitched, got good power, and then just a class act over at first base. Kind of like the dad of the team almost. Need him to be healthy. Another exciting player on this team, NLCS MVP, Tommy Edman. I mean, did we see this happening when they traded for Tommy Edman at the deadline, that he would be the NLCS MVP? I mean, this guy, put him at short, put him at second, put him in left, put him in center. I mean, fuck it, put it behind the plate at catcher. Seems like this guy can do everything, and his bat woke up big time. Hitting almost 400, a double in the game, the series clinching game, a home run as well, driving in runs. I think he had 12 RBIs in the NLCS, which is crazy for Tommy Edman. This guy's a utility base runner, not a fucking powerhouse slugger. Then you pair that with Teoscar Hernandez, who, while his average is a little lower, been just hitting the most timely home runs. You have a lot of firepower on this Dodger squad. So both these teams, like we said, the pitching is going to have to show up, because you're going to give up runs against this team. You just can't let them get cooking and have them have a run, an inning stretch where, say third, fourth, fifth inning, they give up 2, 3, 4 runs. I mean, then you're looking at 9-0, and, that's a high score in baseball. They put that up a couple times against the Mets. So, bullpens, super key in this game. Walker Buehler, starting to heat up a little bit. Probably only going to give you 5 innings, but 18 swing and miss in his last start. Really starting to feel it a little bit. We saw what he could do in 2022. Was just dominant on the mound. Almost won the Cy Young. You expect that, he's starting to heat up a little bit. Free agent after the series as well. So wants to put a little extra in it, bring home that trophy, also get that big lucrative contract. I wouldn't be surprised if Walker Buehler goes 5 innings, 1-run ball with 9 Ks. I could see that happening. Kind of touching on how I said a sneaky MVP for the Yankees would be Gleyber Torres. Well, I think a sneaky MVP for the Dodgers would be Max Muncy. Set the record with most consecutive appearances or plate appearances by getting on base with 13. Didn't get out. 13 straight at bats. That's crazy. Dude carries a big stick and hits it damn far. It almost feels like the engine of this team is when Max Muncy is cooking. We see it in the regular season. When he gets rolling, they already do damage in those first 4 spots with Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, and Hernandez. Well, then you got Muncy in the 5 spot. He can clear the bases in one swing. And at the least, he's going to get on base via walk. And now Tommy Edman playing hot, slap it to opposite field. So, Max Muncy, if the LA Dodgers win the World Series, I could see Max Muncy being a big part of that. We talked about the bullpen, obviously, but you can't overstate it enough. You got Blake Trinan, Evan Phillips, Michael Kopech. These guys throw gas. And we saw the Yankees annihilate the Guardians' relief pitching. These guys got to lock it down. So, obviously, pitching and defense, it wins championships. In any sport, that's what it is. And you can't afford, on either side of the ball, Yankees or Dodgers, I mean, to have errors and keep innings alive and to go into the 7th 3-1 lead and let the game get tied and shift the momentum. Can't have it happen, because I'll tell you what, these teams are going to score late inning runs. It's just who allows less. There's too much firepower on both these squads. Outside of that, Will Smith, catcher for the Dodgers, pretty damn good. A little bit slow, but hit a fucking nuke for a home run against the Padres. Had another one against the Mets. You got to have him show up. And then Chris Taylor, Gavin Lux, probably going to be platooning to whichever pitcher. You know, if Rodon starts game 2, you can expect Chris Taylor to be in the lineup. Then they go to Clark Schmidt game 3. You'll probably see Gavin Lux back in there. Same thing. You need some production out of the bottom half of your lineup. That's been the Dodgers' Achilles heel this entire season. They haven't been getting the production out of their bottom half of the order until the playoffs, where Tommy Edman, Max Muncy, they got hot. Will Smith, big-time hits. So, I say the keys to this series is who runs the bases better, which bullpen performs better, and which bottom half of the lineup can clear the bases, because the top half is going to get on base. That's the keys. The superstars are going to perform. That's just a fact. Picking this World Series, I got to say, guys, to be completely transparent, I have no effing idea who's going to win this thing. Sometimes you have a gut feeling, I think it's the Dodgers. Sometimes it's just Yankees are too good. Both these teams, they're playing really well right now. And I got to say, I got to lean the Dodgers a little bit, just a tad, because of everything they've been through in the playoffs, backs against the wall. They gained that tenacity. But then seeing the Yankees up against the Guardians, where it felt like they were in control of the series, but they had to battle back in those late rounds. This is tough, man. You know, your starters, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt. We wonder if Stroman's going to come in. Nestor Cortez. Wonder what he's going to give the team. The Dodgers, really 3-man rotation. Probably throw a bullpen game in there somewhere where against the against the Padres, shutout. So, I'm not quite sure, guys. Honestly, I think this all depends on Aaron Judge. Like I said in the beginning, if he has a big series, the Yankees win. If he doesn't, the Yankees lose. And I got to believe that he comes through. I got the Yankees in 7. I've talked myself through it. I hope this is a great World Series. It's got the billing to be. Super excited for this game. Y'all don't miss game 1. Friday, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Garrett Cole versus most likely Yamamoto. Shohei versus Aaron. Mookie versus Soto. Freddie versus Stanton. Dave Roberts versus Aaron Boone. Which, before we send it off, both these guys have big-time playoff moments as a team. You know, Dave Roberts, when he was with the Red Sox, stealing that critical base to get the rally going against the Yankees when they came back and won. Aaron Boone, obviously, walking it off back in the 2001 or 3 ALCS to go to the World Series. So, history between the managers. This is exciting. This is what you want. 2 biggest markets, 2 best teams, 2 biggest players. Hopefully, it's the biggest and best World Series we've seen in this century. Guys, like I said, like, subscribe, comment down below. I can't wait. We're going to continue on videos as the series progresses. Super excited for it. Also going to come out with some football stuff tomorrow as well. Kind of touch base there. So, hope you enjoyed another episode of Elijah Talks Ball. Enjoy the series. Stay safe. And God bless. Peace out.